Voltaire, the story of the good Brahmin. One of the commonest criticisms of philosophy is that despite the years of speculating and reasoning, philosophers are not more happy than simple people. Some even believe that it is much better not to probe too deeply into the nature of things. A professor once said, "To question everything is the beginning of wisdom, until one questions the wisdom of questioning everything." Most people live their life in a simple and practical way, undisturbed by philosophical rumination. They seem to be happy by every outward appearance. No one obviously needs philosophy to do well in life, to fall in love, or to succeed in business, or to derive pleasures from leisurely activities. In Voltaire's story of the good Brahmin, the Brahmin is unhappy that so much time pondering the big questions has left him nowhere. But on the other hand, he would not trade places with his happy but ignorant neighbor. Here comes the story. On my travels, I met an old Brahmin, a very wise man of sharp intellect and great learning. Furthermore, he was rich and lacking nothing, so he needed to deceive nobody. His household was very well managed by 3 handsome women who pleased him in everything. When he was not amusing himself with his women, he passed his time in philosophizing. One day the Brahmin said to me, "I wish I had never been born." I asked him, "Why?" He answered, "I have been studying for 40 years, and now I see that these 40 years were wasted. I teach others, but I myself am ignorant of everything. That fills me with disgust and makes my life intolerable. I was born in time. I live in time, but yet I do not know what time is. I am composed of matter. I think, but I have never been able to find out what produces my thoughts. I do not know whether or not my understanding is a simple faculty inside me, such as walking and digesting. Not only is the cause of my thought unknown to me, the cause of my actions is equally a mystery. I do not know why I exist. And yet every day people ask me questions on all these points. I have to reply, and as I have nothing worth saying, I talk a great deal. And afterward, I am ashamed of myself for having talked so much. People say to me, "Oh, Holy One, tell us why there is so much evil in the world." But I am as ignorant as those who ask me this question. Sometimes I tell them that everything is as well as it can be. But those who have lost everything in the war do not believe a word of it, and no more do I. I retire to my home, stricken at my own ignorance. I read our ancient holy books, and they double my darkness. I talk to my companions. Some answer me, "We must enjoy life and make fun of mankind." Others think they know a lot and lose themselves in wild speculations. I despair when I think that after all my studying, I do not know from where I came, where I go, what I am, nor what I shall become. The good man really worried me. Nobody was more rational or more sincere than he. His unhappiness increased in proportion as his understanding developed and his insight grew. Near his house there lived a narrow-minded old woman. She was a simpleton and rather poor. One day I asked her, "Lady, have you ever been troubled by the thought of how your soul is made?" She did not even understand my question. Never in all her life had she reflected for one single moment on one of all those questions which tormented the Brahmin. She said, "Every day I go to the temple, put some flowers on the altar and chant a prayer. And if from time to time I can obtain a little sacred water from the holy river Ganges to wash away my sins, I consider myself the happiest of all women." Struck with the happiness of this poor creature, I turned to my philosopher and said, "Are you not ashamed to be unhappy, when next door there lives an old woman who thinks about nothing and yet lives happily?" He replied, "You are right. I have told myself many times that I could be happy if I were but as ignorant as my neighbor, and yet I do not desire such an happiness." His answer impressed me. I asked myself, and saw that in truth I would not want to be happy at the price of being a simpleton. I put the matter before some philosophers, and they were all of my opinion. "But," said I, "there is a tremendous contradiction in this way of thinking. For after all, the question is how to be happy. But whether one has brain or not. Further, those who are content with their lot are certain of their contentment, whereas those who reason too much are not certain that they reason correctly. It is quite clear, therefore, that we should not know too much, when too much knowledge makes us unhappy." Everyone agreed with me, but I found nobody who was willing to become a simpleton in order to become happy. But it seems that to prefer reason to happiness is to be very senseless. So, what is the conclusion? Is it better to be a human being dissatisfied than a pig satisfied? Is it better to be the Brahmin dissatisfied than the ignorant but happy neighbor satisfied? How many of us would trade places with the Brahmin rather than with the woman? If philosophy does not make us happy, of what use is it